So Dan is.
No, I think he's been.
Sounds like Dan.
Yeah. Thursdays with Wolves.
Someone doing an intro? Just welcome to storytelling.
Welcome to storytelling!
Perfect. So, we're just going to tell you some stories. Okay, some stories from the road, things that happened to us while we've been out there doing gigs and stuff. There was this one time that me and Karis, our old singer, went to Wales. And we drove down, we went to...
So I won't know this story.
Dan doesn't know this story. Dan's never been told this story, so his reactions will be legit. But me and Karis went down to Wales with Soulbox. We went down to do some school stuff with them. We did a youth group. It was cool, it was fun. We drive back. We get to our offices in the Messrs Trust. We drive in, and just in front of the speed bump, we see an object. And we don't know what it is. It was small and spherical. And we were like, I'm not sure what this is. So I got out of the car to go and see what it was. And it moved, it started to move, which terrified me. So I went back in the car and Karis went out to go and see it. Because I thought this small spherical object was an axe murderer or something. I don't know. She saw there was a trap, like an animal trap, over the grids of the drain. And she lifted it up and there was a baby rabbit that had been caught in a rat trap and got his foot stuck. And it was trying to run away because it was scared of us.
That's really sad.
Really sad, but it gets better. It's a good story. We took it out the trap, and its leg was smashed, like it was broke up. And so we carried it and we took it to Karis's car and we fed it some water. We named it Celery because it's a good name for a rabbit. And Karis looked after and nursed this rabbit. It stayed in her home for 3 days over the weekend and looked after the rabbit. And there's a lovely photo on screen of it in her sleeve because that's where it slept, was inside the sleeve. And it was the tiniest, cutest little thing. And then we got back to work on the Monday. Karis brought Celery in. We introduced her to a few people, and then we set her free. We set her back into the bushes, and we let her go.
Where did we set her free?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Straight back into the animal trap.
Essentially,
Yeah.
I was joking!
Almost. So we put her back, and then we dropped her through. We put her through. So there's a fence, the gaps in it, we put her through, and just to the right of where Karis dropped it, placed her down. Right next to it was another trap, and we almost dropped it back into another trap, but we didn't.
Did I ring the RSPCA or something?
I think Karis did. Yeah, I think she did. So to make sure it was all right, she found out what to feed it.
And they said to just put it back in the trap.
Yeah, they said it. They said you put another trap and it will adapt to that way of life. And that's the story of Celery the rabbit.
Wow. How have I never heard that?
But it's too precious. Normally we just tell all the horrible ones. It's such a precious story of this cute little rabbit who came into our lives.
So wherever you are right now, Celery,
leave us a comment.
leave us a comment if you are Celery the rabbit.
My favourite story from the road involves Dan this time, and it was from our last trip to Poland. We went to Mikołów with Exit Tour. Hey guys. Now, one thing you must know about Dan is he has the smallest bladder literally in the world.
It's
the
hilarious.
tiniest little bladder. Imagine a small bladder, then even smaller is Dan's. And that day...
We don't know if that's a medical fact, by the way, but I just pee a lot.
It's 100% a medical fact.
However, on the last day of tour, the team decided to take us out to show us some of the cool landscape stuff, some of the tourist things around the area. We were taken by the Exit team to a coal mine in the middle of the countryside. So we went to the place, we all got our helmets and our gear and stuff, and the woman said, before we went on the tour, she said, make sure you go to the toilet because it's going to be a long time until you see a toilet down there. So we thought, great, okay, let's all go to the toilet. So
I did. I went to the toilet.
You did, I can vouch.
And I said to the rest of the guys, when we were in the toilet, watch me need to pee again in 5 minutes.
Spoke it into life.
I did.
So what happens is we get to the elevator shaft where we're going to plummet beneath the earth to what the first bit was like 350 metres, 500 feet, something along those lines. So we drop down and it's just as we get into the elevator, Dan mentions to me, yeah, I could probably go for a pee again. And again, I thought he was joking, but you know.
I hoped I was joking.
So the mine came in 2 levels. There was the first level that was slightly less deeper than the deepest level, which was like 1,000 feet underground. So we get to the shallower end first. And there's a whole tour around there.
And shout out to Barbara, the tour guide. She did an amazing job.
She was an absolute hero.
I'm sorry I ruined the day with what's about to happen. You were amazing.
We then get back to the elevator and Dan probably starts thinking to himself, great, I can finally go for a pee without anything embarrassing happening. Then she says, nope, we're now going to drop further beneath the ground to 1,000 metres or 1,000 feet.
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet below ground.
Man, I was like, we're back at the elevator, we're going back up, gonna go pee, it's gonna be fine. And then as soon as she said, no, we're going down again, I was like, oh no.
And then we drop further beneath the earth and we're going on another hour-long tour, seeing more equipment, seeing more stuff. We get on a little train thing that takes us all the way down one of the caves, but we get to the point where Dan is crouched against the wall in pain.
I knew that I was absolutely reaching my limit. And so I in that kind of like joking but definitely serious way, started joking with Barbara, the tour guide, and was like, haha, what would you do if I just peed in the corner? And her response was a bit ambiguous, and so I was like, okay, I don't really know. But then it gets to this point where I'm like, I really, really, really need to pee. And she says, okay, there's about 15 minutes of the tour left, but I can do it in 10, is what she said. And I was like, okay, cool, can hang on 10 minutes.
However, 5 minutes later, we're standing behind another party of another tour party, and they were taking their sweet time. They were taking a long time looking at some of this machinery.
I was trying to stay as still as possible because I did not want to disrupt.
It's literally like bent double, like he was bent over, just like, I can't, I'm gonna wee, I'm gonna wee. Like, it was
Going
amazing.
pale, he was losing colour.
And we're stood in this big tunnel that the tram had been down, that we'd been on earlier, and we're stood in this little alcove with a door. On the other side of the door is the final part of the tour, which would take 10 minutes, and another tour guide.
And then we finally make it through that door where Dan is crouched up against the wall, gone pale, and just says, I'm going. So we're like, okay, this is an emergency. Barbara, is there Dan's literally peeing himself now. Where can he relieve it?
I need to go now.
Barbara doesn't really know where Dan could go, so just says, okay, go outside of that door, the one we've just been through, where the tours regularly go, and turn left down the cave where the train goes. Dan hears, go out the door, turn left, or pee on the left, essentially, and Dan disappears.
So she meant for me to walk down the tunnel for a bit and then pee there, which I wasn't sure if that's what she meant. But this is a tunnel that a train full of tourists literally goes down on a regular basis. So I'm like, I'm not getting hit by a train with a full bladder in front of a train full of
As if
tourists.
that makes being hit by a train worse.
And so I decide just to go out the door and just turn left in the alcove and just pee on the wall.
So from our point of view, Dan has just left the door. The woman says, Barbara, she says, I'm going to listen out to make sure the train's not coming. So she just puts her ear to the door, opens up a little bit, and all we hear at that moment is
It was powerful.
and you just hear her shout, no, not there, round there. And
So at this point, I panic. I just start running down the tunnel peeing. I'm like, well, I really hope this is not a train now, because just spray and pray.
and everybody was in bits. Everyone was on the floor laughing.
And then the icing on the worst cake imaginable was we then went to a restaurant after coming back out of this coal mine, and I was still the first person to go to the toilet at that restaurant. Like, probably not even like half an hour later, I had to go pee again. In conclusion, I have peed 1,000 feet underground in a Polish coal mine where I was not supposed to. What did you do in 2019 that made you feel proud?
Comment below.
Comment below.
Barbara, if you're watching.
We love you, we're sorry.
One of the last things she said to us was, I just know when you tell the story, you're not going to talk about the coal mine, you're going to talk about the time Dad peed. And she's so right.
All of that has made me need a wee. So, what was that, number one for this
And the
video?
wee counter.
There we go.
Okay.
While Dan is having another week, give that like button a smash and subscribe. So a couple of years ago, we went to the Midlands as part of the Higher Tour. And we went to this one school, which was like kind of...
Well, we went to lots of schools.
That's true, we did. But one school in particular was like this like boarding school kind of thing. And it may be the poshest place I've ever been. It was awesome. But we felt so out of place. We went into assembly in the morning, and everyone was just sitting down, and there was like the head boy and it was just boys, wasn't it? Head boy, and
Head boy and
he was like wearing he was like wearing this gown, And as soon as he stood up and went shh, everyone just went silent.
Like a wave of
straight
silence.
away.
A wave of
weird.
what's a wave of silence?
Like this.
So we felt super out of place in this school. Like,
We thought they said the wrong band.
yeah, pretty much. That was kind of weird, but actually it was an awesome day. Lunchtime was amazing. The food was so good. It was
You missed a banging
Really?
really did. It was like buffet with like roast dinner and everything. It was amazing.
All you can eat Yorkshire pudding station.
No.
Homemade. In a school. We got there and the lunch menu was all you could was a buffet of Sunday roast. And so they just had a smorgasbord, a plethora, a cornucopia of Yorkshire puddings.
Myriad Yorkshire puddings.
Yeah, literally. You could just go up and get more of.
That's amazing.
It was amazing.
So happy I went there pre-veg life.
So you were all there in. So they were wearing like suits and
Gowns and stuff.
Yeah.
Gowns.
Gowns.
And you were there in like ripped jeans.
Yeah.
Baseball caps are ready to rock their socks off in the rabbit hole.
So dude.
So we did all of our lessons throughout the day, and then at the end of the day we did a gig, and it just went a little bit insane. There was like a mosh pit, we were at a CD, and they went so like wild. That was
It looked like World War Z, you know, when they climb over the wall and get into the city. That's what it felt like.
But all in suits and gowns.
Yeah, but like the poshest zombies ever. Like, our brains.
But then at the end, after all that madness, it was actually awesome. We got to have some amazing conversations with the kids.
Yeah.
Mark, you were talking about healings and stuff, weren't you?
Yeah.
In like a Q&A, was it?
Just throughout the day, like in question
Okay.
stuff, they asked a lot of questions about miracles and like, are they real and things like that. There was this kid who came up to us at the end and was like, oh, I've really hurt my foot. And his whole the bottom of his foot was like bruised from a bad football tackle. And he kind of asked if we could pray for him. And he kind of, all his friends were going around us. It felt like a really pressured environment. But luckily, like healing isn't about us and our ability, it's about Jesus and his. And like he's awesome and super powerful, so it's fine. So we got to pray for this kid, and like all the discoloration and all the pain went. And it was hilarious. He put his foot down, his bad foot, and went, oh, that is mystic. And it was just like, that is like the exact response you want. It was mad. Like God did some cool stuff that day.
Yeah.
In just the strangest environment we never thought we'd find ourselves in. And then we just had like the story that we now get to share on camera, but then also like in schools, wherever we go, we talk about that place a lot.
So shout out to Old Swinton Hospital School. You were awesome. We loved hanging out with you guys. And please get us back.
Get us back.
Yeah, I want some of your Yorkshire puds. So, my second ever gig with this band.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Hurst Head Primary School Fair.
What's up? The most rock and roll of venues.
It was not really the kind of gig I thought I'd be doing in this line of work. It was really good fun. It was a bit bizarre for like the second ever gig.
Yeah.
So that was like the hottest day of 2019,
Yeah.
or like nearly.
36 degrees.
It was so hot, like sun just beaming down, and we were out in this primary school playground, and we just like did like an acoustic set or something.
Yeah.
Did we cover High Hopes, Panic at the
Yeah.
Disco?
We
We
did.
did.
We did.
We smashed it.
So living. Yeah. And that song, Brendan Urie, there's too many lyrics because Brendan Urie's watching this video. There's too many lyrics and they're all weird in that song, and I learnt them all and I got them all wrong. So I was just like, we were just melting all day, weren't we? And there was like
When the
a
ice
classroom.
when the ice cream thing came, we all went out and got like ice lollies. Oh my gosh, that was like the most fulfilling Twister I've ever had in my life.
So there was like a classroom that we could hide out in, but it was stuffy. And outside there was like a tent, but there wasn't much room under it. So otherwise it was just, you're in the sun, and we were playing. I don't know how you guys play guitar.
My hands
like-
were so sweaty.
But they had this little like adventure climbing frame thing, and as soon as we got into the car park, I clocked this structure that was in the middle of it. I was like, I'm gonna climb that. And if you don't know this about me already, I just like climbing things. Partway through the day, I was like, right, we're not playing. Now's my chance. I'm gonna go climb it. I think it was Andy. Did you come with me?
I came with
you
you.
came with me.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I don't want to be a weirdo and just climb it by myself. So someone want to come with me, come to the adventure playground with me and climb it with me. So by the way, it was not meant to be climbed to the extent that it was. I was like up at the top of like a pole
like
that
a
was
turret.
supporting. I managed to get right on the top of this thing, which you're not meant to do. I was very pleased with myself. And then,
impressive.
and then just like all of the little kids came over. And they were like, how'd you get up there? And they're like, oh, I'm gonna climb it as well. I was like, oh no. So I quickly descend from this thing, and then all the kids just swarm to it, and they're trying to climb it and get on top of it. I was like, oh my goodness, all of these kids are going to die.
And right here is another excellent moment to reference World War Z.
And then was it you managed to cover really well. You were like, oh hey kids, instead of climbing that thing, why don't we just see who can run the quickest?
I think it was something like that. It was just like,
At which point I'm like, I can run the quickest, and I just leg it away from the situation as quickly as possible. None of the kids follow me. All of the kids stay there, but I think we put them off climbing the thing.
we just had this image of like 10, 15 kids falling. You know, just like this,
I think
like a Mufasa moment in Lion King, but it's like.
Moral of the story: if you like climbing things, don't sometimes.
We're working real hard to make sure we can do Stories from the Road Part 2. We're going to put some more children in dangerous situations. We're going to make sure that Dan can't wee in places. So we're working real hard to make sure that
But we'll still wee in those places.
100%. If you have liked this video, give it a like. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the notification bell. You know what you're doing. You guys are YouTube experts. You know what you're doing.
Alright.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks for the next installment of Thursdays with Wolves.
Jenna.
Hey,
Good!
Bye.
Rick went,
Stop.
That was a fart.